Action.
Welcome to Off Camera, the UC Film Society radio show all about movies. I'm Ollie.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Cam.
And we'll be your directors for this episode. Today, we'll be talking about the Oscars, the last show of the 2023 award season. There were some major wins, and we'll be diving into them. But first, Jake, Cam, welcome to this week.
Hello.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy
Thank
to be
you.
here.
It's great to be here.
Last week's episode was our June episode.
Oh man, that movie was so good.
And since then, there's been
I'm
a whole
watching
bunch
it
of
again.
memes about it.
Yeah.
And with the Oscars having just happened, people are already suggesting that it will be next year's Best Picture winner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about winner, but
Well,
like,
we don't know what else
I
is
don't
going to come out,
see
right?
what's gonna beat it right now.
I feel like it's going to win awards.
Oh, for sure. Like,
It's
if
just
this
not
doesn't win
gonna-
cinematography, then
It just won't clean
I'm-
up.
yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say when, there's gonna be so many festival awards films that get picked up and released this year.
Yeah.
Like, we never know. So it's too early to say, but it'll definitely be a contender, and I'd be incredibly surprised if it wasn't in the 10 Best Picture nominees.
Absolutely.
I'm keen to go and watch it again, though,
Yeah.
before it.
You might be hearing about my third rewatch of it today.
Okay, well, with that being said, why don't we
Yeah.
jump into our recent watching?
Okay, I'll start there. I went to Sydney and I saw Dune Part 2 in IMAX. I mean, it was just the perfect experience to see this film. I mean, those sandworms, that sound, you feel it in your chest. Even just the opening when you hear the voice, power over spice is power over is all. Power over spice is power over all.
The Mongolian throat singing.
Yeah. Heard it straight in my ear. It like blew my eardrums out. It was awesome.
Don't the seats like shake?
Yeah.
in
Yeah, they
IMAX
do.
theaters?
I mean,
Yeah.
the seats were shaking in the Dendy cinema
Yeah.
we were in. So,
So
that's true.
you
that's
can
true.
imagine.
That is Cinema 1, though, so they probably cranked it all up. It
Probably.
wasn't as loud as I was expecting, though,
Yeah.
which I'm a bit
That's fair.
disappointed at.
Yeah.
But
Maybe
so-
see it in extreme screen. Could be better.
Maybe.
The score too, just that loud, was awesome, and I love the movie so much. I saw American Fiction, which was one of the films that I hadn't seen yet before the Oscars, nominated for Best Picture. It was pretty good. I like the script a lot, even though it was really unsuccessful in one area and really successful in another area. The performances were really good. It's a really smart and clever story, so I like that film. Don't ask me why, but I rewatched 2016 Suicide Squad. I actually was like a defender of this movie for a while, but I hadn't seen it in years. I rewatched it. It's just a not competent film. You
This
could
is where we're going to have a fight.
no, you can't defend this film.
I
I'm
can't.
sorry.
I don't think it's a good movie.
Yeah,
You rated it 1 star.
yeah.
I think they've done some good things.
I would argue that is
Like what?
I
way
think-
too hard.
I think the script is bad.
It's maybe the worst script I've ever.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's sort of like the visual effects are pretty good. The acting's fine.
No, it's not. Margot Robbie's good.
It's fine. Like the rest of it, it's fine. It's not a 1-star acting performance.
to be fair,
I'm not talking about the acting.
I watched it
The acting's probably 2 or 3.
The cinematography's good.
Korean subtitles.
Did you pirate it?
I didn't pirate it, but the person who I did watch it with pirated it, and it had Korean subtitles. And somehow it made the movie better.
The Suicide Squad doesn't team up and go into battle until an hour and 30 minutes into this movie. It
Yeah.
makes no
Look,
sense.
Look, it's not a perfect movie. I don't think it's
And-
1 star. And I want to see David Ayer's cut of it.
I'd
original
love to
cut,
see that.
4:3.
cut.
It'll be in vertical. It'll be like
It's 4:3. It's black and white. It's 4 hours long. It's peak cinema.
Isn't that just
The Snyder
the
cut.
Snyder cut? Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, maybe I'm being too harsh. I don't know.
I think you are. I think you just had watched an Oscar-nominated film and Dune Part 2 in IMAX,
Yeah,
and
I
you
think
saw
you-
something that
you might have
doesn't
taken it a
compare
bit
to
personally.
those.
I reckon.
It's still not. This film's not. Above
Look,
2
it's-
stars. This
it's
film is not
studio
above 2
meddling.
stars, guys. Come on.
it's
No, it's
studio
not.
meddling.
So I don't
But-
know why you're defending it.
I don't know. I just don't like films getting only 1 star. which is going to be interesting when we talk about
well, that's another
what
garbage
I've
film.
watched lately.
What a vibe change. I watched The Zone of Interest also. Such a major work by Jonathan Glazer. Got nominated for Best Picture too. Won some awards at the Oscars.
I do find it amusing. It won Best International Feature. It's the UK. And
Yeah,
it's like it's
yeah.
international, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's like a
The
UK
film
film.
is in German, but
Yeah.
it's weird.
Like
that
it's
the
UK
distribution-
produced
yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
Is it just because it's in German, or
I
is
guess.
it because the UK is international? Because isn't
I-
Oppenheimer technically UK? Like
No, because that was
at the
distributed by
BAFTAs,
American
though.
companies.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just
I think it's about the
interesting.
distribution company.
Yeah, right.
Or I don't know. It's weird. I don't know how they select those. But this had some of the best sound design I'd ever heard before. The way the sound design actually like told the story, it's like the key component to the film. It was really, really impressive. And it's just a really important story and really prevalent in the world we live in today. And I highly recommend it. Like, this film is not enjoyable to watch at all, but like the way it sticks with you and the way it makes you think is really, really impressive. And then I watched 2 films for class. One was The Nightingale. The film was like a gothic horror, like revenge tale, which I usually like, set in Australia, but it was just another really bad script. Went on for way too long, like 30 minutes. Too long, which is
it
way
went for
too
30
much.
minutes, and that was too long.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, it was just not a good film. And then I also watched Mystery Road, which was a good film. It was a Western mystery film set in Australia as well. Cinematography wasn't great. Like, it wasn't really engaging to look at, but the story was really engaging. It's a really nice slow burn. So that's what I watched.
Yeah,
I watched
cool. Good
half
selection.
of it,
Nice.
and I'm gonna watch the other
Yeah.
half tomorrow morning.
It's pretty slow.
Before class.
You gotta keep with it, but I
Yeah.
think it does. a good
I
job
don't
of
know.
keeping you
I
along.
started to get pulled out of it.
Yeah, it's hard to look at. You know,
Like it's not. The cinematography isn't bad.
it's just bland.
but it's not. It's very generic.
Yeah.
Nothing stands out. Nothing is like, no shot made me go, wow, that looks amazing.
Yeah.
It was just, yeah.
It was just very simple, which is not always a bad thing, but
Here it wasn't
it's hard
the
to
best.
for the film to stick out if it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you watch, Cam?
Well, apart from half of Mystery Road,
You watched half of another film.
I watched half of Now You See Me. I should say I rewatched it because this was I was watching it while I was camping on the weekend. And, you know, while you're camping, you've got stuff to do, so you can only watch little bits at a time. And I managed to get through about half of it before
You had to put it down for good.
I had to go home. But I rewatched Thor: The Dark World and gave it
Why?
2.5 stars because that's what it deserves.
That's another 1-star film,
Um,
guys. Come on.
I re-rated Suicide Squad 3 stars.
This is after seeing
Jesus.
his review.
No, it was already up there.
Cam, 3 stars.
You're gonna go and
That's-
trash me on Letterboxd.
It's rough.
I also rewatched Uncharted, 2 stars.
Yeah, I agree there.
Yeah. I rewatched In the Heights. I give it 3.5. I actually really enjoyed it. The first time I watched this was after I was just coming off this big like musical theater craze.
Mhm.
We had a musical at school that I helped shoot and create and do all that behind the scenes stuff for. I also just watched Hamilton, and then I went
Still
to
never
watch.
seen Hamilton. Like,
Hmm.
not even on Disney Plus. Like,
It's really, really good.
It's
Yeah.
actually really good.
I know.
As
I've
far
listened
as
to the
like
music.
musical
Yeah.
theater goes, it's really good.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
yeah,
carry on.
and then In the Heights, I went and watched it at the cinema, and I really liked. Lin-Manuel Miranda is an amazing songwriter,
And he's
but-
in it for all of
and he
2.5
is in
minutes.
it. He is
Yeah.
the ice cream man.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
But yeah, I don't know. You've rated. I saw your rating, and it's not very high.
I think it's 2.5.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That film is solid. The musical numbers are great. The visuals are great. The story just wasn't my favorite, but I don't hate it.
I thought it was a pretty good story. It was quite sad at some point.
To be fair,
It just felt
and
generic.
I was going to say this when you were talking about Mystery Road, but I kind of zoned out, so I didn't know if you were still talking about Mystery Road. It's one of those things. It's like, it's a story about a particular struggle, about a particular
yes.
ethnic group
Uh-huh.
that we just don't identify with.
Oh, totally.
And so, like,
yeah.
Fair.
there's something to be said about the fact that like we can't fully relate to it in that proper way. And
For
so
sure.
you can try and be as objective as possible. Like, if I was that group, can I see how this would resonate with me?
Mm.
Yeah, sure.
Mm.
But it can still color our ratings.
Yeah, it's a great point.
It's interesting,
Yeah.
and I
Mhm.
will sort of talk about it a little bit more when Jake's angry at me for one of my ratings of
Well,
the week.
we'll see.
But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Anything else, Cam?
I also rewatched Nerve, which is
I actually like that film.
I like it too.
I remember when it
I
came
gave
out.
it 3 stars.
I think I
but
have
it
it at the
stars
same.
Emma Roberts and Dave Franco. It's about this app that becomes like a dare game where you get paid to do different dares, and yeah, that's it.
It's a
That's
great
with
concept for
these
a
two.
movie.
It's either you dare or you die.
Is it a thriller?
Yeah.
Because when I
Kinda, yeah.
first saw it, I feel like I felt young enough for it to be almost a horror.
Yeah,
It's definitely not
it's
horror, but it's
more
like
thriller.
a thriller mystery crime
But
film.
it like I found it scary. Like
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it was
Yeah,
scary
yeah.
to me at that age, and I haven't watched it since.
I think if someone
Still haunts you.
different made
this
this,
day.
we'd be talking about this movie a lot.
Like
You know what I mean?
imagine the exact same thing, but Fincher.
Exactly. Like this film would be one of my favorite films ever.
Yeah, and I
probably.
feel like it's very relevant in today's society because of like all,
Yeah,
all of
exactly.
these
Maybe-
social media
maybe like-
challenges and all that stuff.
5 years ago,
Uh,
it came out. What 7 or 8
2016.
years ago?
2016.
Yeah,
yeah.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
yeah,
So maybe 3 years later, 4 years later.
maybe. During
'Cause I
COVID
feel like
would be,
now-
like the perfect time
And we'll
for
we'll
it.
talk
Mm,
we'll talk
for sure.
about
when
this
all the
in a
TikTok
second.
trends were going around.
Yeah, because I feel like now we're past like apps and social media
Yeah,
as
it's not
like a
really-
concept in films. We're now into AI,
yeah.
and like I think if it came out right now, we'd be like, this concept feels a little bit
Dated.
old. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But there are some places that haven't moved on from
Well, yeah.
this whole social media thing, which is
Yeah.
like social media has become a part of life now, and it's
True.
great. And but it's not really a
But it-
defining element in film anymore.
Yeah, I just don't think
It's not really a big
using it
problem.
as this scary thriller concept
Yeah.
would work right
It was
now.
definitely way
It
back
w-
when
in
like
2016 it
Facebook
definitely-
mums were like, "Oh, Instagram's gonna
Kill you.
rot your children's
Yeah.
brain, and they're gonna jump off a cliff or something."
Did you guys ever see the horror movie Unfriended?
No, because I was
That's-
terrified
That's
of it.
linked to that film, to Nerve 2.
This
kind
is
of
the
like
one
in
that's
the
all
social
from
media.
the perspective of a computer.
It's all on
right?
It's
Skype.
yeah.
Really cool. I actually recommend it.
Also, like, it's all filmed using a webcam.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I don't know if it's actually that's the camera they use,
Yeah.
but it's set up to look like it's all
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
webcam.
Really cool
What
film.
did I just tap on? Whoops.
Yeah. Well,
Well, that was
I
it for me.
watched.
Jump in.
So the first movie I watched in the past week was Mission Impossible, the new one, Dead Reckoning,
Nice.
and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, great
Uh,
movie.
I rated it 3.5. I think it's 4.
3.5, 4 seems solid.
It's just, I'm looking back at these ratings I've given all these things, and I'm going to talk about one a bit later that I gave 3.5, which I think it probably maybe should be lower, but like I feel like it's hard to compare ratings. It's like 3.5 for Mission Impossible versus 3.5 for
Mhm.
this other film. It's like maybe they're both 3.5, but in very different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why we come up with categories when we
Mhm.
rate things, because
Yeah.
it's more of a even playing field.
Yeah. But I did really enjoy it, and I think the message about AI, it's like it's the villain is this AI, and instead of accepting that the only way to deal with it is to control it, which is like very much what would happen in real life, Ethan Hunt is just like, no, I'm gonna kill it.
The
I'm
most
gonna
Ethan Hunt
destroy
response
it.
to
And
AI
that
ever.
makes him not only an enemy of the AI, but of all the world's governments.
Yeah. And everyone's like, no, we want it.
Yeah. But I did, I did make my my review was, I think if Ethan Hunt changed his name, a lot of his stalker problems would go away, because he just gets hunted all the
Yeah.
time. He needs to figure it out.
It's in his name,
Yeah.
you know?
The Ethan Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that movie a lot. I think Haley Atwell is really great in that
Yeah.
film. She's a great
plays
addition to that
role.
franchise. The thing I hate about that film, though, and I love that film, but the thing I hate is the first 15 minutes with the submarine. And you could start the film when they're in the boardroom with Kittredge, and that first 15 minutes, you get the same information. It's so annoying.
Fun fact
but it's
about-
showing, not telling.
Fun
I feel
fact
like
about-
Yeah, but they do
film.
both.
But yeah, exactly. What they could have done, cut down the submarine section and cut down the boardroom
Yes.
section,
Yeah.
so
That's
that it
probably
was
more
like
accurate.
they had the
Yeah.
showing,
Yeah.
and then they had them talking about what happened without it being telling.
Yeah.
Fun
That's good.
fact about the film, about the making of the film, the script was originally one script that they split into 2 parts.
Yeah.
So
You
I
can
reckon
kinda
they just
tell.
had to get the runtime for this one. And I don't know. 2 parts kind of makes sense because it's like Infinity War and Endgame. It's the end of a saga. It's the end of the Mission Impossible franchise. And
I feel like it's less like Infinity War Endgame, because the reason they like split that into 2 was not necessarily like it is because it's the end of a saga, but it was also more because the events that happen are so big and they wanted to end it on a negative.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's more like Harry Potter, where
Yes.
because
Oh,
the
yeah.
final, and Twilight, which I'm going to talk about, where they split the final
Never
one,
getting that far.
because it's the end and
Yeah.
because they want to make it a spectacle.
Yeah, they do
And
the same with
one's
Hunger
like
Games,
one's like the build up
Mhm.
and one's the action.
yeah,
Mhm.
which is usually
Whereas
why the
this had a
part
lot of
one-
action, but it's still
Mm.
definitely the build up
Yeah,
Yeah.
where the part 1 isn't always like the highest rated. It's always the part 2.
that tends to be the
But
like the
People
better one.
miss the point of it. This is where you get all the exposition. This is
Yeah.
where you get
Yeah.
all the setup, and then all the big stuff happens in part 2.
Yeah.
Deathly Hallows Part 1, great movie.
But I think Mission Impossible, it was a good movie. I did like it. It was a good start to like
Mm.
those Oscar movies that I was
Yeah.
trying to watch.
Really entertaining.
How about the bike jump though?
It wasn't. Yeah, it felt anticlimactic because I'd seen it so many
Yeah.
times in the trailers.
Mm.
But also, I feel like they didn't really build it up with the music. It just went silent. Like the music went silent, and it was just him driving.
Isn't
was
there all
no
that build up before though, and then it cuts out?
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's going up this hill to meet the train, but when is he going to meet the train? And he has to parachute on.
I just didn't feel like there was any suspense because we
Mm.
already knew what was happening.
Good thing he was already wearing a parachute.
Yeah.
That also, he wasn't expecting to have to jump off a cliff.
They should not have done that in the trailer. It was so dumb. So many other set pieces you could also like showcase in
Yeah.
the trailer.
Well, like when they started filming it, there was the hole that they crashed the train into a valley,
Mm.
and they did that in real life, and everyone was
Mm.
like, "Wow, that's so cool."
Yeah. I remember one of the first set photos was just Tom standing on the front of the train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like before they released anything else from the thing. And
Mm.
that was a sick photo.
Yeah, I remember that.
They could have had, I mean, he doesn't do that. They could have had that in the trailer.
You can show the train,
Yeah.
but then we're like, how does he get onto the train? Then you sort of
Yeah,
realize.
tell us about the train. But also
Yeah.
crashing into the side of it at like 100k an
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it. It had
Yeah.
those Mission Impossible moments where it's like, really? But it was still, it actually probably had the best like meta commentary of any
Yeah,
of
for
the
sure.
Mission Impossible
For sure.
movies,
Yeah.
which
It's
was
actually
cool.
trying to tell a message. It's not just like blow stuff up.
Yeah. Then I watched Poor Things. Now, this is where Jake's going to get mad at me because I watched it and I rated it 2.5 stars, whereas Jake rated it 5.
Yeah, one of my favorite films to come out in 2020s.
I don't actually dislike it.
Okay, interesting.
I watched it and I felt, because I understand what they're going for with all of the different, like the commentary and the exploration of womanhood and growing up and, like finding your freedom and not being dictated. And I don't think, like, I think there's more to discuss there. And I don't think it's necessarily my place to like say whether they did a good or bad job because I'm not a woman. I haven't lived those experiences. But the reason I gave it 2.5 stars was, for one, I had put this film on. You had told me earlier in the day, Jake, that it was on Disney Plus, and I was like,
Which is hilarious, by the way.
and
That's
I
on
was like,
Disney.
I've got 3 hours to kill. Like, I knew that when you said that suddenly my afternoon was full. I just knew I had to watch it before the Oscars. And So I feel like maybe I felt a little bit of pressure to watch it from myself, self-imposed pressure. And so I was lying there on the couch feeling kind of bored with this film, which has fantastic visuals, fantastic costume, fantastic acting. And I just didn't really understand what was going on. And so that took me out of it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel a little bit like there were a lot of issues, as in social issues, that they were trying to discuss, and they went sort of surface level. So I don't know. It's not that I didn't like it. It's that I probably wasn't in the best space to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I was talking about it with my friend over the weekend, and he said, I feel like you can have a different approach if you go into the movie like in cinemas where you can't leave, there's no other option, versus at home. Like I had my phone right in front of me and I had the kitchen right there and I was getting food. And that can, even if you're like fully invested in the movie, that can still impact your watching of it. So I would need to watch it again. I would need to pay more attention to the like social aspects and see, do I think it did a good job? It is very long. I don't know if there's anything you could take out, but it did just feel long. And one other thing that I didn't like about it, which was not necessarily a problem with it, but maybe with my approach to it, was I thought going into it that it was just, like from the very first scene, it presented itself as if it was regular old Victorian London with just one mad scientist. But then it turns out that actually the whole world is really weird. Like it's not... Like when they go to Lisbon, you see that the architecture is this completely wacky, nonsensical, non-realistic architecture. And they have this sky tram going past and everything. And then the cruise ship that they're on is very fantastical. And I liked that. I thought they were really cool elements, and it meant that the production design looked amazing. But it really threw me off when that happened, because I was like, oh, so this isn't just like they've taken real life and put this one weird element into it. Yeah, I don't think it was bad. I definitely think I've rated it too low.
Okay.
But I don't think I can rate it higher yet because I don't understand it, and I would need to watch it again. I'm not in any hurry to watch it again, though.
Fair. I think it's still playing in cinemas. If I do, that's why what you said about being in cinema and arresting yourself to the film is why I will always go for the cinema experience rather than watching at home. I've never watched this at home, so I don't know what that's like. Even when I suggested this to you, I was like, I don't know if you're going to like this. I don't know if this is going to be your thing, because it's, definitely a specific type of movie. I certainly love it. To your last point, I might just say that I think that's a little bit intentional, because in the very first part, Emma Stone's character is stuck at home and she hasn't experienced the world yet.
True.
And she finally gets to experience the
and it's
world
all black and white.
in its full glory.
And anytime they're outside, like it's presented like normal Victorian London. They're in this, when they're in the uni and they're doing the surgery and they've got all the students there, that feels normal. And then even when they're driving, the only nonsensical thing is like his carriage has the horse head attached to what is essentially a steam carriage. That's the only atypical thing. Everything else, like, it's normal horse-drawn carriages and normal people just wandering around. So yeah, I like.
It's very sheltered up to that point.
Yeah, I do get it, but at the same time, we are seeing the outside world. So it was just a shock. Yeah, because they were still presenting us the outside world. And so it just changed dramatically. But I don't think that was a bad thing. It just threw me off.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would be interested to watch it again in a couple of years and see how my opinions have changed on it. Because obviously people have really liked it, and it's done something right to end up at the Oscars. Yeah. So
some people really hate it, though.
Yeah, definitely.
But
I think it's also interesting, like, there is a lot of sex scenes in the movie. Yeah. And I don't think that's to its detriment. I mean, we've talked about Boogie Nights and we've talked about like sex being used in movies, and I don't think that's necessarily the bad thing with it. But people have talked about that as if like it being, quote, 25% porn is like the problem with the movie, and that's not the problem with the movie. If there are problems, which I think there are definitely problems with it, I just think I don't know. Maybe I've been too harsh. Maybe I haven't.
Mm.
We'll have to see.
Interesting. I'm glad you watched it, and I totally understand your thoughts. I hope you at least enjoyed Mark Ruffalo being the best.
Oh, the acting was fantastic.
yeah.
I definitely think the acting and the costumes, like the acting and then all of the production design,
Yeah.
including costumes. I mean, it won every Oscar for hair and makeup, acting. I mean, yeah, hair and makeup, costume, and production design,
Yeah,
which
and
we'll talk about later.
We'll talk about more.
Unbelievable to look at that film.
So, like, I definitely think they were the best parts of it.
Yeah.
If I broke it down into categories, they would be giving it 5, and then story, I don't know, we'd have to see.
Interesting. Okay.
Then I also watched The Prestige, which I've been wanting to watch for a while.
That movie's so good.
And I went into this movie thinking it was like Now You See Me, directed by Christopher Nolan, which it sort of is for the first part.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love Now You See Me, and I love these magician style movies, and it's really cool, like all this sleight of hand and the way they can use the camera to portray the magic. And then I kept watching it, and I didn't watch it all in one sitting, I will admit, but it was still 2 sittings, and I saw like most of it, and I remembered everything when I did the second sitting. But I started disliking it in the middle. I felt like I wasn't resonating with the characters because they were just having this feud, and it didn't feel like there was a protagonist. Like, as in, there's obviously the 2 protagonists in the sense that they lead the movie, but it didn't feel like there was one good guy that you're meant to follow and one bad guy. They're both conflicted characters. And then it ended, and I was like, I didn't love the way it ended at the time. And then I immediately looked up like these reviews of it and saw the perspective, and suddenly it all made sense to me. And I looked back at the whole movie, and I couldn't even tell you exactly what the review said or what exactly changed in my mind. But suddenly I just realized that everything clicked, and yeah, I really liked it. So yeah, I would want to watch it again, like with this new perspective. And I think like it turns out really well. I did not realize David Bowie was Nikola Tesla
So awesome.
when he came on screen.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know until the end credits I saw David Bowie. I was like, who was David Bowie in this film? And then even I looked it up, and I was looking at the picture of Nikola Tesla, and I was like, that's not David Bowie.
Yeah.
And then I looked really close, and I was like, oh, I guess. And to be fair, I'm not like a big Bowie fan, so I don't really know what he looks like as David Bowie.
Right.
But it was just like
Bowie's done
mind-blowing.
a lot of different makeup styles throughout his life, so it's always hard to tell when it's him. But you can
I've
always
had
know.
this one like section of what is it, the labyrinth
Labyrinth.
stuck in my head, where he's talking to the goblins about the what is it, like the voodoo.
Yeah, it was trending on TikTok
Yeah.
a while ago.
It's just been stuck in my head because it's like
You remind
the
me
word,
of the Babe.
yeah. What babe?
The babe with the power.
What power?
The power of voodoo.
Voodoo.
You do.
The quote
Remind me
you
of the
used
Babe.
for The Prestige in your Letterboxd review is one of my favorite movie quotes ever.
Yeah.
So good.
My review was, now you're looking for the secret, but you won't find it because, of course, you're not really looking. So that's the quote. My voice acting was terrible there, but powerful quote.
Give
Just
it another
bored.
Go. Give it another go.
Okay, I'll give it another go.
Yep.
Now you're looking for the secret, but you won't find it because, of course, you're not really looking.
Yeah.
That was
That was the same person.
I wasn't gonna attempt Michael Caine.
Yeah.
And then what I said was what I said at the start of
Yeah.
this conversation. I thought I was watching Now You See Me as directed by Christopher Nolan, but I was actually watching my brain be rewired. And I do think it's funny that happened after, when I read one review. I didn't even read like a bunch of reviews. I just read one.
Yeah.
And I could see that all of them were sort of the same.
Yeah.
But I read this one review and it just all clicked.
Yes.
Um,
Sick movie.
And then yesterday I did a Twilight marathon.
We'll rush through this
I've
one.
never seen any of the Twilight movies, but we were doing it for research for a play that my partner is putting on.
Okay. Research in air quotes.
No, it is, because it's a combination of Romeo and Juliet and Twilight.
I was just messing with you.
Yeah. And the first movie is definitely the best out of the 5. It's like an art compared to the rest of them.
I 100%
If you
agree
look at
with
it
you
on
here.
its own, it's sort of an arty film. It's like if you gave an indie filmmaker a budget and they just sort of
It's still
did
an
what they want.
awful movie.
I don't say it's awful. I don't say it's good.
No,
it's
not.
fine. I rated it 3.5, which is probably too high, but I'm not sure. And that's why I wanted to talk about like the comparison of ratings, because
Bef-
that's exactly the same as what I gave Mission
Before
Impossible.
you do, I'll just say the trend of using Snapchat filters while watching Twilight made it a better movie, and that was still horrific.
Okay. Look, I'm not going to say it's a like fantastic movie. I'm not even going to say it's like really that good, but I don't think the first one is that bad. It has its elements which suck. But
Good way to put it.
but yeah, so I watched that. I gave the first one 3.5, then 2, then 2.5, then 1.5, then 2.5.
What a franchise.
Yeah. But yeah, that's everything I watched.
Didn't it make a hell of a lot of money though?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
because
popular.
but that's because everyone was so invested in the love triangle.
It gave us Robert Pattinson, so something good came out of it.
The best Batman. That's
Yeah.
a hot take.
And the
I
guy
know.
in Tenet, and the guy that gave us Oppenheimer. So
And the best.
The guy that gave us off.
yeah, he at the end of Tenet, he handed Nolan speeches that Oppenheimer wrote, and that's what made him want to write.
Really?
That was like the book one.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
Yeah.
yeah,
I think I had heard that actually. Now that
Yeah.
you say that, but
yeah.
He's the best
that's
Neil.
crazy.
Oh, I forgot to say, I watched Tenet as well.
Did you?
Yeah,
Oh,
I watched
For
it
the
again.
first,
was
no,
awesome.
you haven't. You've seen
And
it.
then
Really
I
good
watched the everything great about
yeah.
that series
Yeah.
about Tenet,
I've watched that too.
and then it broke my brain because I
Mhm.
thought about it too much.
Yeah,
Ne-
you don't.
I will
don't
watch it.
try to
Movie,
understand it.
Watch it twice. Watch it the first time to enjoy it, the second time to kind of understand it. If you don't understand it from then, don't try and
Don't
understand
try
it.
to understand
hurt.
it. Feel it is a quote said 20 minutes into the movie, and people still don't listen to it. So
Yeah, look, I'm
To be
I'm
fair-
yet to watch it, but I'm now like on my Nolan grind.
yes, you do.
Yeah, so I'll get into it eventually.
Anyway, Prestige is one of his coolest films.
yeah, it
still
was
love
really
it.
good. I
I've got
was
the DVD
interested.
of it, but I don't. I want to get the Blu-ray
Of
of Tenet.
Tenet.
I
It'll
was
be
I
better.
was actually surprised by the Prestige because for some reason I went into it thinking that it wasn't very well rated.
Mm.
But then I looked at it after, and it's actually
No,
like
people
on
love
Letterboxd it's
that
got like
movie.
4.5 or whatever.
Yeah,
On IMDb it's like 8 or 8.5. Like it's
Cool.
highly rated.
Not
I
a
don't
lot
know-
of people have seen it, and not a lot of people know that it's Nolan. So
Yeah.
it's
yeah, I don't know.
it's very unlike Nolan.
yeah.
Like it's one of his.
Have you
first,
seen it,
wasn't
Cam?
No, I haven't.
It's good.
It's on my
good.
list
I would
though, and I don't
watch
pay.
it all in one sitting
Okay.
because it'll be better. No
Another film I
promises.
think is made for subsequent viewings too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Because I don't think you need to understand the twist to make the start better,
Mm-hmm.
but I think you need to have know the whole story
For sure.
to make the end of Act 1, start of Act 2 sort of
Mm.
flow better.
The middle specifically will be
Yeah.
a lot better for sure.
And that's all you watched.
Yeah, that's all I watched.
That's
so on to
Recent watching for the week. Before we head into movie news, this is kind of movie news, but more Canberra related. Mr. Oliver over here, our gracious producer. I can't say president anymore.
no,
But
the other P word.
the
There are many P words.
all right. Olly made a film for LCA, and it got in. He got enough points, and he got selected, and it was screened on the big screen.
It was
on
cool.
Friday, I believe.
Amazing.
Yeah, last Friday.
Friday night.
It was cool to watch this film with a pretty decent audience. Like there would have been 200 or more people there.
Wow.
We didn't win any awards, but none of us who were involved really cared that much that we didn't, because to be selected for the top 12 is really cool.
Yeah.
And some of the people there, I've only been to one other LCA, like the screening, and the people there around me, like the people that I worked on it with, they've been to heaps, and they said that this cohort was one of the best cohorts of 12
Oh wow.
that they've ever seen. And at the very end in the awards ceremony, 2 films took home almost every award. So it was
Jesus.
it was stacked.
That's pretty good.
They swept, and so we didn't really have a chance, even though ours was pretty good.
Mm.
It just didn't stack up compared. And so I was happy to just be there, see all these amazing films made by people in Canberra, and have a good time.
I love
super
it.
cool. And congrats on getting in.
Thank you.
Yeah, I imagine.
Cam's salty.
Cam also made a film.
I also
but
made
that's
a
awesome
film, but
in its own right.
it was fun. It was awesome to make because
You shot it all in a day, right?
we did. We shot it all on Thursday, and I had the second rough cut out Thursday night.
Yeah.
That's great.
Second rough cut.
Second rough cut.
Wow.
That's
There
killer.
were 4 altogether.
Wow.
Damn.
But yeah, it was. I don't know. If you haven't made an LCA before, I definitely recommend it. Even if you don't have any ideas for a script or anything, have a look on our Discord and say, "Hey, is anybody making an LCA? This is me. This is what I do. I'm interested in helping." Even if you're just like there to carry gear around,
Yeah.
it's an awesome experience to be a part of.
I was anti the concept up until this year. I don't love the restrictions that LCA has. I think that's because I'm a screenwriter I love screenwriting, but I still lack motivation and the ability to just like jump right into it and write something really fast.
I agree.
And so I think having these 10 days where you're really limited to 10 days, like
yeah,
most people have a script beforehand that they adapt to it.
we did
And
that
so
as well.
you
and
need
easy.
to be writing regularly. And that's the problem because like I'm not, or I should be, but I'm not always writing regularly. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's difficult, but actually it's a really good exercise in filmmaking and trying to fit in with these restrictions. It's sort of like working with a studio in a way.
Yeah. This is the third LCA that I've done. So I did one last year and the year before, none of which got in, unfortunately. But it is
That is the way the cookie
cool to
crumbles
finally
sometimes.
be one of the people who...
The key creatives.
Yeah,
if
one
you
of the
will.
key creatives behind the film
Yeah.
instead of just a set assistant.
Okay.
It was
Well,
awesome. You can find it on YouTube, Letterboxd, and IMDb.
your one.
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's called The Coffee Order, written and directed by Oliver Williams. If you just search up Oliver Williams.
Our one called Small Talk is not on any platforms yet.
There you go.
I voted for it, even though I didn't see it.
Thank you, Jake. I appreciate it. Well, why don't we jump into the big news of today? Oh, we've got a little
quite.
bit of news first.
We're getting into movie news, but not all the way. So, was it last week? The trailer for
A couple days ago.
a couple days ago. Jeez.
3 to 4.
For a new TV series on Amazon came out for Fallout,
Oh my
the
god.
TV
Man.
series. So Fallout is based off the video game series of the same name. There are how many? I think there's 6. There's 6 games in the there's 6 games in the series from Bethesda. Not all from Bethesda, but most of them are. And it's like a post-apocalyptic nuclear survival kind of game with a whole bunch of like it's if after World War II we stopped using nuclear energy as weapons and decided to use it more as a resource. So it's the whole around like fusion, nuclear fusion, and technology powered by miniature fusion reactors, which is awesome. And that whole kind of futuristic, but also everything looks like it's from the 60s kind of vibe. And then in 2077, the Chinese bombed the US and created this nuclear hellscape. And I can't remember if it's the whole world, but so far all of the games have just been set in the US.
Of course.
Of course.
I
But
love the idea in post-apocalyptic things that it is
Yeah.
just the US that's
I
been
know.
affected. Like you go to like Australia or even China
Just
or
chilling.
something, and they're all just vibing.
Yeah.
I'd say that the US is probably going to be the one that, starts fights with everyone else, I'll be honest. But
Who's to say?
there's a mod for Fallout 4 called Fallout London, which is a community-made mod that's I haven't tried it out yet, but apparently
That
it's
sounds
really
fun.
good. It's
That
got
sounds
custom
fun.
voice acting and all that. But I would really like to see one set somewhere else.
Yeah. Do you think the show's gonna have mods? Can I change the show?
Can you imagine if they somehow made a way? Like it's an interactive
Mods.
one,
Yeah.
but it's not just interactive in like the 3 or 4 ways that the filmmakers have made. It's interactive in like you can actually change the story infinitely. That would be so fun.
It's all AI.
It's an ARG.
Yeah.
Oh my
God
god.
damn.
That'd be horrendous. But so far it's an 8-episode
Yeah.
TV series.
They're all getting
which
dumped
is
on
so sad.
Prime on April 11th. So all at once.
Very
So-
soon.
Yeah.
About a month from when we're recording it, the 12th of
Yeah.
March. But it's so disappointing that all the TV shows nowadays are like less than 10 episodes.
Yeah. Well, at least you're not
But-
6 like the Disney Plus stuff.
It's
I
also-
get really frustrated by
To
that.
be fair, it's in some ways to do with budget, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
they get a massive budget, but also each episode costs heaps to make. So like, if your budget is 250 million, but your episodes are costing 50 million to make, you're only going to be able to make 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like that's just how it goes.
I don't really care as long as it's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
If they can
it's
tell a good
then I'm
story, unlike the Halo series, which we won't get into, I'm super excited for it because I'm
Yeah.
a massive fan of the Halo franchise.
The
not
Fallout.
not the Halo franchise, the Fallout franchise. I also do like Halo.
Yeah,
I started
me too.
playing, was it Infinite again? But yeah, it's really cool.
It just looks so good. It's
it
so
does.
cool to
It
see
looks
that
really
world
cool.
fully realized, and it's always so like they did it with The Last of Us really well, and it's
Yeah.
just another. We're in a good spot for video games, TV, maybe not movies, but
from. I think kind of Ready Player One set it up, and then
Mm.
Super Mario
mm-hmm.
completely blew everything else out of the water.
Uncharted was
Really
kind
cool.
of a failure, but
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Anyway, the actual movie news. Sorry, the more important movie news is the Oscars. So this happened yesterday when
Yeah.
we're recording it.
As of recording,
As
they
of
were
recording
yesterday.
and well, we made predictions beforehand,
Mm-hmm.
but I will say Oppenheimer absolutely cleaned up.
Well, yeah,
in
we
the
all
awards.
knew
They
this
absolutely
was,
cleaned up.
was gonna
We knew it
happen.
was going to happen.
Yeah.
Let's go through each of the categories, and we'll talk about our
Mm.
predictions and what actually won the
Transpired.
award.
Yeah.
So the first award, actor in a leading role. I don't know about you guys, but I predicted Cillian Murphy would win,
Me
and
too.
I also thought, well, so the way that we did the prediction sheet was we chose the film that we wanted to win, and then the film that we thought would win, or the film or the actor of the category.
Performance, whatever. Yeah.
So for the first award, actor in a leading role, best actor, I thought Cillian Murphy was going to win,
Mm-hmm.
and I also hoped he was going to win, and he won.
Yeah.
Which
That
is
was the same for me. I
Yeah.
thought he would,
no surprise there.
wanted him to,
Yeah.
and he did.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I'm really glad he won. His speech was great. He more than deserved it.
Definitely. Next was actor in a supporting role, which was won by Robert Downey, who I
Mhm.
wanted and predicted.
Same.
Yeah, me too. I would have been happy to see Ruffalo get it too, though. I love that performance, but Downey deserved
Yeah.
it.
He's super
It's his-
underrated.
it's his
He needs
time.
to be using more.
Who?
Ruffalo.
Oh, for sure.
I
yeah.
think he has more range
I'm
than
so
just
excited to
the
see
Hulk,
him
I
in
reckon.
more movies.
So the next category, actress in a leading role, won by Emma Stone, which I'm really disappointed about. But I haven't seen Poor Things, so I wouldn't know. I haven't seen her performance, but Lily Gladstone, I really hoped would have won
Yeah.
here.
I had Lily
she
Gladstone down for thought she would and wanted to, and
Yeah.
but this was before I'd seen Poor
Yeah.
Things. I think after seeing Poor Things, it would have changed to Emma Stone thought she would, Lily
Mhm.
Gladstone wanted to.
Yeah.
I think Emma Stone did do a fantastic performance. I just think like Lily Gladstone's was something truly special.
Yes.
Like Emma's was fantastic and she has such a range and she was doing these intense and crazy things whilst also having these like really deep moments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Lily Gladstone got to do all this pain and suffering and
She's the heart of that movie.
yeah, really
She's
I think Killers
so
of the
good.
Flower Moon doesn't work with
not at all.
with a lesser actress or with
Mhm.
a like different story where she's
Mhm.
not the heart of it.
Yeah, definitely.
I had Emma Stone will win and Lily Gladstone I thought should win. I love Emma Stone, and if any performance could beat Lily, I'm glad it was this one.
Her speech
Mm.
was great, though.
Emma Stone's speech was great. Even when she won, you could like tell on her face like she didn't want to win because she was
Because
like,
Lily's performance was just so good.
yeah, and like she would know the discourse because there's been so
Yeah.
much discourse about it. This was easily like the most contentious race going in. They had split so many awards. Yeah, I don't know. Emma Stone already has an Oscar.
Do you love the
And-
parallels though? Every single so far, was it last 2 as well? It's been her up on the stage winning the award,
Yeah,
and Ryan
they've gone-
Gosling sitting in the
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah. It was just so devastating to see Lily lose, even though Emma Stone is so great. And it would have been the opportunity to give Killers of the Flower Moon an award too, because this film didn't win anything.
Which is
And that
Poor
disappointing.
Things won 4.
4, yeah. 3 before this. So it really devastated me to see that movie
Watching-
not win anything.
When Nolan came up as hang on, I'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
Ignore me.
Okay, so next
Category is the actress in a supporting role.
I thought Divine Joy Randolph would win based on what I hadn't seen the holdovers, but based on what you were telling me about it, Jake.
Yeah.
And I, at the time, had the only other film I'd seen on there, and still to this moment, the only other film I'd seen on there is Oppenheimer. And so I just put Emily Blunt because she was the only other
Mhm.
like performance that I knew.
Mhm.
Which
so
it
that's
still
what I
was a
put
really
as
good
she
performance.
Yeah.
wanted her to win. But
Blunt's
yeah.
great, but Divine was always going to win this.
Yeah. Next is best animated film.
So I want to say this first. I thought Spider-Verse would win, and I wanted Boy and the Heron to win, even though I hadn't seen Boy and the Heron, and I had seen Spider-Verse.
See, it was the other way around for me. I haven't seen The Boy and the Heron. I have seen Spider-Verse, but I thought I wanted Spider-Verse to win,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew that The Boy and the Heron, because Miyazaki is just, he has that prestige.
Yeah.
And
This was
that
probably
kind of
one
thing.
of the closest categories, though.
That and Best Actress for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was very contentious.
Yeah.
And Shameik Moore, who played Miles,
I
said
saw
they were
this.
robbed. But he then said, actually, like, I was just being a sore loser. They like absolutely deserved it.
Yeah.
And all of the Spider-Verse cast were like, if we had to lose, we lost to the GOAT.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
It was going to be one of those two, and they did an amazing job, and it just makes sense.
I thought Spider-Verse was going to win, and I obviously wanted Boy and the Heron because one of my favorite films of the year. Oh my God, I was so happy to see this happen. And it makes me even more happy because all the people online are so insufferable. Everyone's only seen Spider-Verse, and they're just like, oh, Spider-Verse, Rob, Boy and the Heron's mid, all this stuff. Even though they haven't watched it, really pisses me off. And I'm glad that, they got shut up.
Yeah.
Next category, cinematography.
Our boy.
I think,
Hoyt van Hoytema.
yeah.
What a legend.
First Oscar.
He was spotted using an iPhone on stage to film it. Absolutely disgusting. Should have just pulled out a Super 8 camera out of his pocket and filmed.
Yeah, he's a hack.
Did you see the thing about Zendaya having her Super 8 on
No.
the set of Dune?
Yeah.
And Greg Fraser actually took it and filmed some stuff with it. It just didn't get put into the film.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I want to
but
see that
yeah,
footage.
I
Oppenheimer-
I wanted Killers to win, but I think looking back, I think I probably did want Oppenheimer to win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still,
I
Killers
wanted Oppenheimer
should
to
not
win.
be overshadowed.
No,
because it was still
no, it was
Same with
very
Poor
good.
Things. Poor Things has amazing cinematography too, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I don't think it quite stacks up to the other two.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Next category, costume design. Poor Things won it. I feel like it
Absolutely.
was really no competition.
Some of the best
I-
costumes I've ever seen.
Okay, I'm now just thinking, I wonder if I've got my colors wrong. Because for this one, if I go based on what I've been saying, I think, because I would have wanted Killers of the Flower Moon to win.
Did
I
you
hadn't-
take a photo of mine.
Oh, this is yours. Yeah, I'm looking
Yeah,
at
red is will win. Black is want to win.
Okay, yeah, that makes so much sense now. I forgot I'd taken a photo of Cam's just to look at what was what. Anyway, I wanted Killers to win. I actually think I thought Killers would win because I hadn't seen Poor Things at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Killers had amazing costume design,
Yeah, very cool.
but I understand why Poor Things won because it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Next category, directing. Best director,
He's done it.
Christopher Nolan.
First Academy Award for directing.
Finally, he won an award,
Mm.
and he deserved. He has been nominated a
Yeah.
bunch of times beforehand,
Yeah.
but still, yeah, he deserves this.
Such a strong lineup.
I think
All
this
these
is
nominees
this
are so
is
great.
out of all his films as well, the one with the least contention.
Mm.
Like if we go backwards, Tenet had so much contention. Even Dunkirk, like
Yeah.
lots of people didn't like Dunkirk. Then before that was
Interstellar.
There are the occasional people on the internet who are like, "No, Oppenheimer was terrible. I don't know why you like it."
Yeah, but
they
still.
don't understand.
They're
the point of
very
the movie.
far and few between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all the ones before that have their critics.
Yeah.
But this one is pretty much universally loved.
Yeah.
So I
That's
think he
really
did a
cool.
fantastic job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna win, and he should have won, and he did.
Next category, film editing. Won by Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
There we go.
One of my favorite wins of the
Absolutely
evening.
cleaning up.
Jennifer Lame is such a legend. She's edited Tenet. She did Frances Ha, Hereditary, a lot of other smaller movies that are just so amazing. Such great editing. I can't
she
wait
has
to see
an
what she does.
amazing filmography.
For sure.
Very good.
And her speech was awesome too.
Yeah, in this category, I put down Killers as will win, but yeah, again looking back at it, I think Oppenheimer because I wanted it to win, and yeah, I think it.
Yeah.
I think I underestimated how much it would actually go home with.
It's such impressive editing, that film.
Yeah,
I thought she was going to win, and she did.
The editor of Poor Things, I'm just looking at this, has the same first name as the director.
Yeah.
I was like, did they just get the director's last name wrong? Okay, what's the
Must
next
have.
category?
the next category is international feature film.
Yeah.
The Zone of Interest one. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it, but J.K. Shaw's
Amazing
it's
film.
very good.
I thought it was going to win, and definitely should have.
But also international means not US in this in this circumstance.
Well, our suspicion is that it's the distribution company,
Mm-hmm.
and the even though it says UK, well, I guess it must be a UK distribution company if
Must
that's
be,
what it
yeah.
says. So yeah, it's a UK film, which is confusing to me because they don't normally make that distinction as being international, even though technically it is. International tends to be like foreign film, like foreign I know it's in a foreign language, but it tends to be your foreign language films that have everything is foreign
Yeah.
about it. I don't know.
foreign to
interesting
the US
because
this is
It's still like
America.
it's German, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, it's a German film.
Mm-hmm.
It's just UK produced and distributed.
Mm.
I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it won, and it's good.
Jonathan Glazer's speech for this was really, really good. You could tell he's really nervous because he was speaking on a lot of issues that some people are afraid to speak on, and he was doing it on the biggest stage possible. So I really,
It's amazing.
respect him for that.
Yeah.
Next category, makeup and hairstyling, won by Poor Things. Fair enough. No notes.
I wanted this to win, but I thought Maestro was going to win because
Maestro.
because people like there is a lot of talk about like how he got the Leonard Bernstein's nose was depicted in the film, and
They just cut it
the
off
face.
his body and put it on
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper's face.
Yeah.
You got one.
And Poor Things, like there wasn't a lot of talk about his makeup and hairstyling, which is really good. I love the hair in that movie, especially Emma Stone's, as it gets longer throughout the film. I guess I didn't really know, but I was excited to see Poor Things win this.
It was good.
Next, music original score. Oppenheimer, Ludwig Göransson, what a legend.
I was so happy to see him up there.
I
His second Academy
man.
Award.
do think that Killers as well.
Great score.
It was really close here.
Yeah.
But also then John Williams for Dial of Destiny. I know he's an amazing composer
Yeah, he's pretty good.
and conductor,
Yeah.
but also he did it for the other Indiana Jones movie.
It's for his score
Feels
that he wrote
insane.
like 40 years ago. Come
Yeah,
on,
I
guys.
know. Didn't he win something for it already?
Yeah, probably. Anyway, it made him the most nominated person in Oscar history, I think.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
He's got 54 nominations, and he's won 4.
Can you tell me for which 4? Wait, can I guess?
Yeah, you guess while I find it.
Let me see.
Okay,
E.T.?
I've got it. Yep.
Star Wars.
Star Wars: A New Hope.
Yep.
Raiders of the
Jurassic-
Lost Ark.
No.
Jurassic Park.
No.
Oh. So Star Wars and E.T.
Did he get nominated for Jurassic Park?
Surely.
He got nominated for pretty much every movie. he's
Schindler's
ever
List.
done. Yep. Actually, hang on. There's more than 4 wins here.
Oh, okay.
There's
Okay.
5. There's 5
Okay.
wins.
Okay.
Schindler's List is one of them.
Yep.
So we got 3 out of 5. Try and be quick as
You
possible.
could get one. The other one, I don't think you'll get.
Is there another Spielberg film?
Is it another Star Wars film? Is it another Indiana Jones film? Okay. So I can rule out
Jaws?
those.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He actually was not nominated for an Oscar for Jurassic Park.
That is.
But
Not
it
what you
was
want.
for a Golden Globe, wasn't it?
Yeah, he got nominated for something else for it.
Oh, something else. What are you thinking? All right.
You're
What,
not-
Tintin.
what is it? Ollie?
Tintin.
What is it?
No, it's Fiddler on the Roof.
I wouldn't have gotten that.
Yeah.
No.
We
So-
would have been here for ages.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was best scoring, adaptation, and original song score for Fiddler on the Roof. Best original score for Jaws and Star Wars and E.T. And best original score for Schindler's List.
Yeah, nice.
They were just all separate.
Anyway, I'm happy to
Um,
see Ludwig
Yeah, no, that's
this
really
one.
good. He definitely deserves it.
for sure.
Next category in music is original song.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely robbed here. I'm Just Ken. I thought would win, and I wanted it to win.
I wanted I'm
But
Just Ken to win, but I knew Billie Eilish.
What was I
song
made
gonna
for?
win.
I mean,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah. It's
But
a good
also-
song.
I mean, it's from the same movie, so
Yeah, she performed at the Oscars. It was good, but Ryan Gosling also performed I'm Just Ken at the Oscars, which was definitely
But
the
I
most
think-
entertaining part of the show.
I think you also need to look at it like one is a more entertaining song, but is
Mhm.
it necessarily better when you get down to it musically? Maybe not.
Yeah, if you want to talk about
But-
the whole like how the rhythm
And what it means for the film
it-
as well.
I'm Just Ken means everything for the film.
Well, yeah, true.
It's
I don't
very
know, I
pivotal
still-
in that
I
film.
still haven't seen Barbie, which
Yeah.
is bad. But
same. It's okay. Best picture. We'll save best picture till last.
Can you guess who won, guys?
Yeah, take a guess.
No
While
idea.
while we
I
while we
think-
skip over it, take it.
I
take
think
a
it
guess.
was-
not you, Ollie.
I'm
No, nah.
guessing. I think it was.
Turn him off.
Jones
Turn
and the
it-
Dial of Destiny.
Yes.
Oh, must
That's
have
what I
been.
was
Yeah,
guessing.
yeah. Production design. Where did I put that? Production design. I wanted Oppenheimer to win, and I thought that Killers would win.
Mm.
I was wrong on both accounts. Poor Things won,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah. I thought they were going to give this to Barbie for the creation of Barbie Land, but I was happy to be wrong because Poor Things definitely should have won this. Some of the best sets I've ever seen. But Killers of the Flower Moon has great production design. So does Oppenheimer. I mean, I watched the behind the scenes for that, and watching them build that town and
Yeah.
create these rooms is awesome. So
Yeah. Oppenheimer and Killers both really felt like they were in the era they were in.
Mm.
But the thing about them being historical is like you sort of get lost in it in a good way, but like it also doesn't stand out because it's not doing anything crazy. It's just like
Yeah.
being a
But it was
historical.
also like 80 years ago. It hasn't
Yeah.
changed much.
But then like Barbie and Poor Things are doing like something unique and crazy.
Mm.
I don't know, interesting.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
Next cat.
Before you get into
Oh.
sound,
Yeah.
I want to bring up Wes Anderson winning his first Oscar.
and he wasn't even
Oh.
there.
Yeah.
I have a lot of things to say about that.
Live
Okay.
action short film, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. It definitely deserves it.
For sure. Great.
It was an amazing film. I loved it.
Yeah, I love that
I
too.
absolutely loved it.
Wes Anderson has his first Oscar, and he wasn't even there, which was so disappointing.
Why wasn't he there?
He's
Do we know?
filming a movie,
Oh, okay.
which is cool,
That makes
which
sense.
is good,
Fair enough.
which is a good alternative. But I would have
But
really liked to
if-
see him give a speech.
This
for
one
his
better
first
win an Oscar.
Yeah,
He did make a statement. He said, if
Yeah.
I hadn't run into Owen Wilson in the halls of the University of Texas 18 years ago, I never would have been able to achieve this.
it made me
Award.
happy, and it's a bit weird to get him his first recognition for a short, but like, we'll take it.
I don't know. Like short films are still important.
Yeah,
They
for sure.
count.
No, they are.
It's
They
like
are.
we are making short films. At
Yeah.
the moment, the idea of making a feature film to me is unfathomable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But we are making
Yeah.
short films.
And
And,
short
it's cool to see
films-
that someone like Wes Anderson, who has made
yeah,
all these different,
yeah,
like, have any of his features been nominated?
yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
like
I'm
all
sure.
these nominated films, feature films, still making short films.
Yeah.
And I think, like, Henry Sugar's only half an hour.
It's 40 minutes.
Yeah,
40 minutes. There
They-
you go.
And they
Like-
actually just announced that they're putting all 4 of those shorts into one film that you can watch it on Netflix,
Oh, lovely.
which is cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know
think
how
it
I
makes
feel
more
about
sense for them to be individual.
I agree.
The only thing is like there aren't really any other short
If
films
there's
on
extra-
Netflix.
like, scenes that
Oh, true.
draw them together. Because
Yeah,
it
that'd
all
be
fits.
cool.
It's Roald
Yeah.
Dahl in a shack telling
Yeah.
us about his story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
They can make it work. And
I guess they could just like if
Uh.
they because each one starts with Roald Dahl,
Yeah.
they just like put them one after the other. It will sort of look like it's all one thing.
it also might mean they might release this in cinemas, which
Maybe.
is cool.
I don't know.
I
It's
would
interesting.
Be down to see that. In
For
It would
sure.
only come out to about an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Or an
yeah.
hour and 40.
Yeah.
So
It's like his usual length
Yeah.
anyway.
still.
true.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's 40 minutes. Like the last big, like actual big decent film that I made was about 22 minutes,
I've never made a film
and that
longer than
didn't
15
feel
minutes.
long.
Me neither.
Yeah, well, like Water Baby, that was 22 minutes, but it didn't feel
I
long.
still haven't seen it.
No, it did not feel long.
We'll watch it afterwards. The next category, sound.
Mm.
There's 3 categories left that we're going to talk about. Sound, the zone of interest. I don't know, haven't seen it, but Oppenheimer I wanted to win and thought would win
Yeah.
still. And this is the only category that Mission Impossible was.
Visual effects too.
Oh, really?
I'm so happy with this one.
There
Yeah,
we go.
we'll get into that. But I just want to say for sound, I had Oppenheimer winning, and I wanted it to win, but this was before I had seen Zone of Interest, and I would definitely flip both of those because that sound design was unbelievable.
Right, okay. Was it really something special?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, that's cool. I'm looking forward to eventually seeing it.
And it was it's great to see that this film recognized for that sound because it
Yeah.
would have been so easy just to give this to Oppenheimer, which is
Yeah.
great.
Okay, best visual effects. I
Godzilla -1.
Yeah, that's what won. I had it as wanted and thought, and I'm so happy. I
had the
was
same.
so proud for the Godzilla team. They were so excited. It was the only nomination they got, and they won it. And they came dressed with shoes that all had Godzilla claws for heels, and they all had a little Godzilla
It was so cool.
model,
Yeah.
all in different colors. Like one was black with blue, one was gold, and one was silver, or one was black and silver, or whatever it was. It was so cool, and they are awesome people.
Yeah.
And they did their letterboxd top 4, like each of them picked one, and it was Jaws, Back to the Future, maybe The Shining, and
I
something
think
else.
E.T. was in there.
E.T.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. It might not have been The Shining, but it was definitely the other
Jurassic
3.
Park, maybe.
Yeah, Jurassic Park. That's it. And that's such a good 4
It was just
for filmmakers making, for one thing, a Godzilla movie, and two, just like a sci-fi fantasy movie of this scale. It's so cool.
yeah, and it was awesome.
Amazing.
I want to see that movie.
Yeah, I'm so desperate to see it.
Guardians, I reckon.
It had good
It was-
VFX, but it's also a Marvel movie. Like, I would have sort of been surprised if it won.
That's definitely that's Marvel's fault.
yeah,
100%.
yeah, definitely Marvel.
Still think-
Like, I still love Marvel. I think they've had
Yeah.
their problems, but I still love them. But there's no question that the studio has gotten in there and caused issues. And I don't know if that's Disney as a studio or specifically Marvel as a studio. But yeah, there's been issues, and the VFX has taken the biggest hit.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I still think Oppenheimer should have been nominated here.
Well, speaking of Oppenheimer,
Yeah.
final category, the best picture. Drum roll, please.
We didn't even go over screenplay.
Oh,
True, we didn't.
Did I even?
Let's
Oh.
retract that
Hang on.
drum roll. Whoa.
Let me just scroll. So, writing for the best adapted screenplay, American Fiction won.
Yeah.
Jake's not happy.
I thought. Hang on. Yes, I thought Barbie would win,
Yeah,
and
me
I
too.
wanted Oppenheimer to win.
I wanted Oppenheimer to win too.
But yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it. Have you?
I saw all these films.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people don't appreciate the Oppenheimer adaptation more. The writing it in first person is genius, and it's such a big novel and it's such a big film. The writing in that film is so good. Also, Poor Things hilarious. Barbie is even a better win than American Fiction. American Fiction's still good, and I like that film. And the guy's speech was really good. I think I had Barbie to win. Oppenheimer, yeah, I said that already.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. It was like a good win for a first-time writer filmmaker, but yeah, definitely not the best work here.
I mean, like, as a screenwriter, to go in, get nominated, and win, that's amazing.
For sure.
And so, like, I haven't seen American Fiction yet. I was going to watch it before the Oscars, but
Mhm.
nothing was really drawing me to it. But it's definitely cool
Yeah.
that, like you say, a first-time feature. Well, I don't know if it's their first feature.
It is.
Okay, their first feature was not only nominated but won.
And
That's
beat
crazy.
Christopher Nolan
And beat-
and
yeah.
Gerwig. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And the next category, writing but original screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought Anatomy of Fall would win, and I wanted The Holdovers to win. This is purely based off
That's exactly because that's exactly what
Jake
I did.
has told me.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen any of the films in this category, unfortunately.
Yeah.
What were your predictions, Ollie?
I think the same because I also haven't seen any of them.
Yeah. I wanted Holdovers to win, and I knew Anatomy of a Fall was going to win this, and I'm really happy it did, even though it's not my favorite film here. It's definitely like one of the best screenplays of the year, maybe the best, even if it's not exactly my favorite, because the writing in that film is absolutely crazy, and Justin Trier is really cool, so it was cool to see her get a win.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well,
now we can go into best
back
picture.
to the drum roll. The best picture, take your bets, was
The Marvels.
Past Lives.
You were supposed
I
to
think
say
you
the
guys
right
were
one.
Oh,
wrong.
sorry. Ready? 1, 2, 3. The Marvels.
Oppenheimer.
Oh.
This
Yes,
is a
Oppenheimer
shambles.
won. It was amazing.
The reveal of this
The-
was so funny. I don't know if you guys saw it, but Al Pacino came on stage
Oh, that was
to present, and he takes out the envelope. He doesn't even say, and the Oscar goes to. He goes, "My eyes see Oppenheimer" in the
Yeah,
most
yeah.
old way.
But he
ever.
also
It was so
didn't
funny.
say what else was nominated.
Well, they had been running that throughout the awards
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
They had been showing little clips of each film and being like, "This film's nominated for Best Picture tonight,"
Yeah.
and I think that was to
Oh,
save the
okay.
time.
Because I only watched like the
Yeah.
last half an hour.
Yeah, because
Still.
I saw a thing that was like he didn't even say it, and then I saw a thing after that was him saying, "I was told not to say it."
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But he definitely, when he came out, it was very, like, these award shows when actors are given scripts, but there's no real character.
Mhm.
They're so bland. Like, when they were announcing Best Actor, they had 5 of past Best Actor
Mhm. They
nominated.
did this for each
nominations came out.
acting category
Best Actor and Best Actress.
and Best Supporting and Best.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I didn't see those bits.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had a bunch of people come out. They had Forrest Whitaker, Nick Cage,
Brendan Fraser. Can't remember all of them, but
and then 2 more.
it was the
that I
past
forget.
5 winners of each of those categories.
Yeah,
which was cool.
it was really
Very
cool,
cool.
but they were so bland and monotone, and it was just kind of
Some were more passionate than the others. Like I love Nick Cage ones for Paul Giamatti. Like that was awesome.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
some were like more monotone. I agree. So it was like you could tell some people were
Yeah.
passionate. Some people were just there to get paid and go off.
Yeah. Oh, did we do supporting?
Yeah.
Actor.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, okay. I forget.
If we
now.
didn't, it was RDJ, and that was to be expected because he
Yeah.
swept
Yeah.
every awards show.
Yeah.
So well done, RDJ. We're proud of you.
Yeah. I'm
can't
curious to see
remember
what he
talking
does
about
next,
it.
most of all, because he could either go back, not as Iron Man, but like to be doing these
he
big budget
has
films,
teased
or he could
that
go
he was
even
going
further.
back to do that. Oh, it's not in the. It's not in the list that I'm looking at.
What isn't?
Best supporting actor. Oh no.
Did we
Best
talk
act-
about
no,
Divine
there's-
Joy Randolph as well?
We
Yeah, but
did.
there's best actress in a supporting role, but there's no.
Best
Oh,
actor.
I'm seeing.
Oh, we missed it. It is there.
Yeah, we
Well,
Oh, well, we must have talked about it then.
we did.
Maybe I've got short-term memory loss.
probably.
I'm Dory.
Okay.
Well, there we
Well,
go. That's
yeah.
the Octas. We're sticking with it. Screw it.
No.
That's the Octas for this year. Oppenheimer cleaned up.
Yeah.
It
I
didn't
can't
win
wait
as-
for next year's Octas.
Yeah, I know. The 97th Octa Awards.
Yeah, 2028 better be a massive year for films because it's the 100th Oscars.
Yeah.
Can I
Which
say
is
one last thing about the Oscars?
unofficially the 100th year of films, but films have been like proper motion picture feature
Mm.
films, but they have been coming out since 1910s, I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
I can't remember the earliest film, but I know the
Yeah.
20s were like they were stacked with
Yeah.
films.
One last thing I'll say about the actual like award show.
1896 was the Lumiere brothers' like first film.
Oh, okay. Well, ignore me then.
Is that so? Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt came on stage to present a montage for the stunt people,
Oh,
and they just showed clips of different stunts this year. Didn't even say any names, and then they just moved on, and it made me so frustrated because they were like,
they had fun banter about Barbenheimer, but it
Yeah.
had nothing to do with stunts.
they
stuff.
clearly wanted to show that they cared about the stunt people, but like they
The
didn't even say the
Hollywood-
names, and they're still not an award.
it's the
so
Hollywood Foreign Press that organize the awards, right?
I think
And they're the
that's
voters.
Golden Globes.
Oh.
Academy Awards, I think, is the Academy.
Okay. I would imagine.
I don't know. Either
Yeah.
way, they're all rigged, slightly. Unfortunately.
At the end
As
of the
much
day,
as we
these
like to
awards
think
don't
about it.
matter, but they're fun to talk
No.
about and fun to watch.
Yeah, like because Oppenheimer, great. I reckon it probably was the best film on the list, but
Well,
that's like a personal opinion. Like, was it definitely the best film, unequivocally, that came out in 2023? Maybe
Yes.
not. Like, we think that, but maybe it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, you can't always say that just because it's the best picture, like, award winner.
yeah,
It's the best picture.
yeah. The quality of the film is what matters because there's a lot of bad movies that have won Best Picture.
Yeah, but there's so many categories. to
I
each
loved
film.
when Suicide Squad won Best Picture.
That's an Academy Award that won an Oscar.
Actually?
What for?
Makeup and hairstyling.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
no,
look,
that's fair.
Makeup and hairstyling.
That
is
film
like,
has an
no,
Oscar,
you
and
can
Paul
have
Thomas
a, you
Anderson
can
does not.
you can have a terrible film with good makeup and hairstyling. Like, and
Academy Award-
remember what I said.
Academy
we don't
Award.
think
Got
that
smoke
smells
coming
terrible.
out of his
Academy
ears
Award
over
for
here.
funny film.
Out from underneath their headphones, there's smoke pouring out of them.
That'll tell you how much
Jake's
those
never gonna
awards
win an
don't
Oscar
matter.
because of all this beef he's got with them.
They're
Nah,
never
I
gonna
don't got no
accept
beef.
it.
When you
They
become
gave
a
my favorite
when
film
you
all the
become a
awards,
big
so.
budget filmmaker, and people start like digging into your history and they find off camera and they hear all the disparaging things you've said about other people, they're gonna be like, look at all this.
But what about all the good things I've said?
Yeah, good doesn't always outweigh
But
the
then they're
bad,
gonna be
buddy.
like, you trashed us for not having stunt people, so we hate you.
Well, hopefully by that time they'll have stunt people. That award should be announced.
Anyway,
ASAP.
I feel like that is a nice note to end on.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good wrap.
Excited to see
Well,
what happens
actually,
next.
there's some other things. Film Society stuff. We still have the Soviet film screenings going on every Thursday, every second Thursday,
Yeah.
every Thursday,
Every
I don't know.
second Thursday.
every
Thursday.
second Thursday. Ben told me there was one this week, but
Yeah, there's.
oh, well, there
Because
you
it's
go.
been 2 weeks.
It wasn't last week.
Yeah, because that was the week in between.
Okay, all right. Okay. I must have missed
Yeah,
it.
so there's
So
one this
there-
week,
but
but
there
it'll
should
be
be
over by
one.
the time
There
this
should
goes
be
out.
one next week when this comes out. I
Yeah.
think
Mm-hmm.
So there's one every Thursday for
every second
every
Thursday.
second week for 4 fortnights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so 8 weeks.
If you
8
come to one, you
weeks.
can get all the information on the others.
Yeah.
They're in 2B9 at like
The big lecture
7?
theatre in
Yeah.
Building 2, where we do all of our other events.
Mhm.
We are also, what was the other thing we were going to do? Trivia.
Yeah, we have trivia coming up on April 2nd at the UC Bar X. That'll be at 5:30. Yeah.
We'll put a bunch of posts out about it. And at the end
Lots
of
of
the
good
semester,
prizes.
we're looking to have another short film screening and a costume ball
Mm.
so far, but we're still working out the details.
Mm.
The theme
You have to show interest.
you
so
have
that
to
they
show
can
interest,
have the costume
please.
ball.
We need people to come.
Yes.
It will be free for all Film Society members, so jump on the membership. It's $10 for the year. Awesome value. I'd highly recommend it. But the theme will be award winners.
Indeed.
Yeah.
You can come
Uh,
as Oppie.
You can come as Sophie.
Also, not just Academy Award winners, any award winner.
Any
right,
award
from
winners.
this
You
season.
could come as your film that won an award at LCA.
Right. Okay.
Oh.
It didn't, but okay.
Not you specifically, but if you
The
had
listener.
a film that won an award,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or if you happen to, you could come as the guy from Run. That
So I'm gonna go as Jared Leto as Joker from Suicide Squad because that has won an award.
You
Awesome.
could come as who was it? Who Dan played in Asking for It? The
Yeah.
award-winning
Yeah.
second-year film.
Role model.
Yeah. Jesus. That's definitely a good place to wrap up. Let's.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna call it there. So thanks for joining us for this week of Off Camera. We'll see you next week.
Wrap.
See ya.